I'm an adrenaline junkie, so becoming a flight nurse was my big passion. I worked so hard to get there, and it was a great job. I did it for 7 years, and I loved it. Unfortunately, I ended up falling out of the helicopter, a freak accident that kept me in a hospital bed for weeks. With fractured bones in my back, my doctor told me that I would never work again. But I knew differently. I am Teresa Switzer, and I'm from Pierce, Illinois. I remember going to work, and we were loading the patient. The paramedic pushes the patient in from the rear of the aircraft, and I stand inside of the aircraft and receive the patient. And as the patient was being loaded, I was knocked off balance when the paramedic pushed the stretcher into my leg, and I felt a crack when my back hit the skid of the aircraft. And I yelled at the pilot and saying, I think I broke something, take the patient back inside. So after I fell out of the helicopter and I became the patient, that was living life on the other side of the fence. I had not been a patient very often. Knowing that, mobility is key to patient outcomes, I found myself not wanting to move because it hurt. I ended up with a pressure injury. Just because of lack of mobility, I will always believe that's the reason I went home in a wheelchair. Things that would have helped my experience be different would have been tools that would have helped the nurses mobilize me sooner. Perhaps a standing and raising aid like a Sarah Plus or a Sarah Flex, but just the turning and the boosting in the bed, alleviating some of that task for the staff would have been something great for them to have, maxi slides or a ceiling lift where they could just hit a button and be able to turn me and boost me and reposition. I was not the age category to be a high risk, but the minute a patient becomes immobile, no matter what their age, no matter what's going on with them, the minute you're immobile, you're at risk. And just helping nurses to understand that has been my 14 years at Arjo, trying to help them understand the why of mobility. After many years as a nurse, I joined Arjo in 2008. I'm now part of the Global Clinical Outcomes team, currently developing our pressure injury prevention program. That program includes the Provisio SIM scanner, which is certainly a game changer. We can use that tool to do an objective assessment of the patient. So it's meant to be an adjunct to a nurse's visual skin assessment. It's a quick device to use while you're looking at the skin, just to go ahead and scan the sacrum and the heels and quickly be able to identify if that patient is at risk or not. Doesn't mean they have an injury yet, but it means that there's already been a triggering event causing some damage under the skin. I always waited for the perfect moment to share my story that, hey, I was that nurse at the bedside. If you've had a moment in time where you're immobile, as I did, you appreciate the power to move, the ability to move. It's just very meaningful for quality of life.